he has his own bathroom, and we explained it.
Hey, Buds.
Hi.
How you doing, man?
Good.
You going to the first one?
Yep.
Finally going to get a good question.
How do you feel about tonight's game?
I feel really confident. I like the way the guys have been playing. Well, obviously got a tough opponent. They're on a roll. They're one of the best teams in the league the last 20 games. So it's a good challenge for our team. Good question, buddy.
Thanks.
What are you seeing in their development?
The energy on that team. You know, I've just noticed the last 20 games, they're having a lot of fun. You know, obviously winning does that, but you know, obviously Brady Tkachuk's he leads the charge. When I watch their team play, it's they bring attitude and energy every game. You know, obviously they're a young team. They're going to make mistakes, but for me, their energy and attitude is high end.
Was Thursday's long practice a result of what you're trying to accomplish here? I mean, it's nice to win 3 games in a row, but we have a lot of work to do. Is that kind of predicated on the length of that practice?
Yeah, I like the team to be even keel. Obviously, you know, you win 3 games in a row, and you want guys to feel good about themselves, but there is a lot of work to be done. And I just felt we needed a teaching, a little bit of a grind day. And, you know, the one thing I like giving the players is, you know, what we're going to do the next 3-4 days. And I told them, you know, if we have a really good session, which I thought we did, you get the day off, which was yesterday. So I think that builds morale. You know, you let them decide. And I think that's sometimes I do that throughout the year. Let them decide.
There has to be kind of a reward system in there at some point, right? With either how well they played in a game or how hard they practiced.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was really thinking of doing 2 practices, you know, Thursday, Friday, but I said I'd rather do the 2 sessions, get a few of the teaching things out, some of the grind out, and give them 36 hours to rest. You know, and you look for the week, you know, we got 3 and 4 coming up, so you try to get the right off days, but you still got to get your work done. I mean, and there's also that you got to, you know, Mike Sullivan always used to tell me, you're tired, but you can't be tired, and we got to get that through some guys where, hey, I know I'm tired, but you got to grind through that tiredness, and that I thought we'd accomplish that Thursday.
It's easy to get jacked up for the Bruins or the Leafs, and then some people would call it a low event game against Anaheim, but sometimes those are the hardest games to play, and you still have to accomplish something through that. There was something taken from that game, the way you hung in there, right?
I didn't like our second. We were throwing pucks away, and Anaheim was kind of coming on us. But I liked our third. They didn't get a chance. I mean, we had 6 chances, there's 0. To me, that's a learning lesson. You're going to have to play these dull games where you just, you know, things are just, the other team's playing well or they're playing a defensive style, and you just got to take what they give you. And I thought we were patient. And sometimes you got to win these games in overtime. So yeah, I mean, that's an 82-game schedule. You're going to win different styles, and that was a style you have to win.
This morning, Brock credited a lot of your guidance for some of the stuff we've seen. Maybe not consistent from him, but where do you see
From who? Who's that?
Brock.
Yes.
Where can his game improve, or where has it marginally improved in the last couple of weeks?
He's an interesting guy because I think there's more. There's another level, and that's my job to get out of him. And he's a terrific kid. I enjoy talking hockey with him. I think this is a big 16, 17 games for him, and then this is a big summer. I mean, I'd really like to get involved in his training, what he does in the summer to prepare. I think our staff could help him because if we can get him to another level, I mean, that's just, I mean, it's going to be huge for the Canucks. So, and I think he's a type of guy that's willing to listen. So, yeah, that's where we're at with Brock. I mean, how do I like he's played? It's a little inconsistent for me, but he does, when he has a puck and has patience with it, he's got good patience with the puck. There's other parts of his game we got to get him going. He's got to start to forecheck a little bit harder, be a little bit better defensively in certain situations. I mean, I'm playing him. He played 17 minutes last game, so you know, I told Brock he's gonna, if he plays those minutes, he's gonna have to earn those minutes. You know, there's some guys that are knocking on the door for more minutes, and that's unfortunately that's the world we live in. You know, it's the world of competition. So he's got to make sure that he steps it up.
Is it hard to break a shooter's mentality? Because he says that as much as he's trying to do everything else, he still thinks shot first.
Oh no, I want him to think shot first. But you're playing with JT Mill. I think Millsy's been a horse on the forecheck, so he's got to make sure he participates. You know, it can't be always Millsy. You know, you have a centerman playing 200 feet. Sometimes you got to get him leading the forecheck. So I think that's where he can help Millsy out, and that's where I think Giuseppe's helped Millsy out too.
What about the fact that he's a player that The club has looked at trading.
Yeah.
Has agent permission to talk to the team, so clearly a change might be something he wants. So
Yeah.
how do you deal with that for the balance of the season, but you also talk about the offseason?
Well, it's kind of good for me because I came in 5 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago, so all that stuff was before me. Like, you know, who said who, who wants it, Brock wants out or whatever. I don't know. All I know, I've talked to Brock personally, and he wants to get his game better, and that's my job. So whatever happens there, that's out of my control. Like, my focus is, like any player, is to make him better because it's going to, selfishly, it helps my team better. And then hopefully, whether he has that in his head, maybe a change of heart this summer, maybe it's management's change of heart, maybe it's a collective as a group change of heart, who knows? But these actions, the next 17 games, will dictate that.
You have to treat it as he's going to be your player until he's not, I assume.
I always do that. I mean, you can't think any other way. For me.
Talked about that this morning. He says, obviously he doesn't want to go. He thinks he can have that kind of offseason that you talked about.
Well,
Changing up some things.
I mean, I played the game, but whether it's here, like for him, he's got to be better. Like whether he goes somewhere or stays here. So, regardless of where he's at mentally, where he wants to play, for himself, selfishly, he's got to do the right things this summer.
The run your team is on, and just the success you're having right now.
Yeah, I just think since Rick's got here, we've kind of got a new direction, and for most nights we've played a pretty good 60-minute, put in a good 60-minute effort, and I think it's just a matter of time before we get the results. Ever since Demer's been back, he's been great for us, and whatever goal he's had to fill in has been really good too. And I just think our game's kind of coming together as a group, and like I keep saying, it's a process to try to build our identity as a team, and I think we're trying to find one.
There's a feeling that you might be playing your best hockey at both ends of the ice under Rick. If you believe that's the case, what's the message been from him that maybe has worked for you?
I just kind of can worry about myself, just play, and I don't know. I think I've been playing pretty, like I told you guys, a couple months now. I think I've been playing pretty good. I mean, every night's not perfect, and could I have more production? Maybe, but I take a lot of pride in my own end of my rink. And at the beginning of the year, I told you guys a lot about that's my only concern. And for the most part of the season, it's been pretty good. So, no, I take pride in it, but I always tell you guys I'm not really. I don't want to be satisfied with that. I think there's always another level.
What about Ottawa tonight, and a team that's fighting for a playoff spot here, and the challenges they bring?
Yeah, this could be one of our harder games the rest of the season. If you think about a desperate team, another Canada versus Canada game, it's going to be awesome in the rink for sure. They're going to be buzzing. They're really good at power play, penalty kill, and they can hurt you if you turn the puck over. And some heavy players. I mean, there's not really a quality they don't really have, and it's going to be a really good test for us for sure.
You mentioned one of your hardest games because of what they're playing for. You're playing a lot of teams that don't necessarily have playoffs to play for. So does it feel different on the ice when that's happening, when you're two teams that aren't necessarily going to be playing in late April?
Well, I think that's our challenge as a group, is finding maturity to not change your game based on who you're playing. We should be ready to go, especially at home, to start. It's just supposed to be a hard place to play for other teams. Doesn't matter if we were playing the Ducks last game, all due respect to them, or Ottawa Senators trying to make the playoffs, or the Boston Bruins, or it doesn't matter. We should have the same mindset, and that's what you try to find a group when you talk about identity. Is you have the same mindset every single night. Doesn't matter who you're playing.
Rick has talked a lot about how the rest of this season is building the foundation for next year. How important is that element of it too, that you're looking forward to trying to get off to a strong start next season and set some of those things in place now?
Yeah, that's why it's so important the last couple months here. We really focus on getting the right habits, because you don't want to be still sorting through those when the season starts next season. We want to be able to use training camp next year we all know the standard and the level of accountability we can have with each other when we just know what to expect. If we get here in the camp and have to kind of reset and relearn, that's going to set us back, and inevitably we won't start on time. So that's why I'm really happy to see that we're getting some results now, and we're really starting to come together as a group. That way we feel really confident going into next year.
Wake up, all right? Grow up. Sorry. Grow up. Grow up.
Generational talent. Thanks for liking the video and subscribing.